What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video on MVP Sports Live. My name is Jake Neverman, and I am here with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And Dave is wearing the shirt that I assume you purchased at Summer League when you guys saw Bobo in the
Airport.
in the airport, because that seems to come up. It's that, and it's the Ricky tells the story about meeting the fan after the Bulls game. It's those two stories. You probably could go back over MVP videos and see them about 17 times each told.
Easily. But I mean, I'm sorry, meeting Bobo in person and seeing him in person, being 4 feet away from Bobo, it's something you don't forget because he is 7'7". Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. My brain couldn't comprehend a gigantic human being like that who also looked like Skeletor. Like, it was just, it was very confusing. By the way, weekly, free Bobo. Can we get this man some playing time on a team that actually wants to play him with a head coach who's not a coward?
Well, let's just improve the best bench unit in the NBA and get him to Philly. Let's go. Improve it. Let's go.
That would be terrifying.
We'll be talking about them shortly. But before we get into that, housekeeping. Down below in the description, if you want to check out our Discord and join the greatest community in the world, it is it's something this season. I haven't been on in 2 weeks, but it's been something so far. The Discord, the Patreon is also down below, as well as channel memberships. Draft content will be coming soon, and it'll be available a week early on Patreon. Then you will be seeing it here on YouTube. Also, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell if you want to get notified. Ricky's favorite word. Whenever we go live or whenever we post a video, whatever it is, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, hit a like. Let's get started. Do you want to start in the East or the West, Dave?
Well, I mean, the video title is "Are the Warriors this year's Finals favorite?"
Okay.
So it feels like we should start in the West.
So we can start with the Golden State Warriors 9-1. Without Wiseman, without Kuminga, without Moody, because they're both in the G League.
I mean, they both got minutes. Wiseman is obviously still not yet because he's coming off of an injury, but
and most importantly, without Clay.
That's the only one that actually matters. And that's ridiculous to say.
Wiseman
3 lottery
matters.
picks.
Wiseman matters. Wiseman matters.
Does he?
Yes. I still firmly believe it as a James
For
Wiseman.
A trade piece?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's I was trying to cut through the bullshit here, Jake, because you're right. The Warriors have done this without 3 lottery picks and Klay Thompson, which is insane to say out loud. Is Steph Curry the MVP? That could have been the question today. The answer as of today is yes.
It's not even worth a question because it's not even worth a question because if you're talking about it now, of course he's the MVP.
He's terrifying.
He's been the best player in the NBA by a large margin so far this year.
He could be averaging 40.
Besides Furkan Korkmaz, he's been the best player in the NBA.
Maybe outside of the fourth quarter because Steph Curry doesn't need to play the fourth quarter.
I was gonna say it's like the 2016 Warriors.
Time.
It's unfreaking believable. It's like 2016 Warriors almost, where like Steph's like, I'm gonna play 3 quarters and I'm gonna go sit on the bench because we're up 20.
It's exactly that, and that's without literally one of the best 3-and-D players of all time. So it is so hard, and a lot of teams want to bring up, or a lot of pundits want to bring up the fact that, hey, who have they beat? You know, look at the strength of schedule. You can only beat who's in front of you. And they did clown on a handful of teams who are playoff teams. So, like, I understand that the games will get harder over time, but I do expect there to be a serious, like, this is not a 72-win team. Like, let's be real.
I think this is where you rein it in. You can only beat who's in front of you. Yes. Do I think they should be finals favorites? Still no, because I still need to see it over a longer period of time, and also I need to see when Clay comes back what their play style looks and if it differs even a little bit when Clay comes back, because you're going to have to mold him back into the system. Is Steph? The big thing is, it's so weird to say that Steph is old now. He's going to be 34 in a couple, and I think his birthday's in a couple months. So I saw a stat that was like Steph Curry is the oldest player to have 50 and 10 in the game or something like that. And I was like, how are we already at the point in his career where we're at the oldest player? Like, it feels like he was just entering his prime, but his prime really isn't over because he's still top 5 player in the NBA right now. Right now he's number 1, but it's just interesting with this Warriors team. The dynamic, it seems, is that last year we heard a lot of people criticize Steve Kerr and say how overrated of a coach he was and that he couldn't coach unless he had multiple stars, blah, 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 blah. Team looks completely different. It looks like a different offense with the confidence that they have in some of their other pieces outside of Steph. And while, yes, Steph is shining, This is really a whole statement on how good this team is and how good the supporting players have been.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it. I think it's funny. Really, yeah, we'll have to see how they do. Working Clay back in. Yeah, I think working Clay back into the offense that he's most comfortable with, and was one of the greatest all-time like flamethrowers, hot hand, defend. Like this is not even a thing for him. I'm just like this team is getting by and more than getting by with the current roster. So adding another top talent to it, giving them another wing defender is insanity to me. Like their lineups get more hilarious. They can go. They can beat every team small. Andre Iguodala as a bench point guard is crazy to me. How well it's worked out. Jordan Poole, obviously at the end of last year, took a massive step after his G League stint, where it was like, "Hey, buddy, you got to be better," and then he did, and then he was, and then this year he picked right up where they left off. So he is, the third Splash Brother out there. Otto Porter healthy, we know what he could do. He's just never been healthy for the last 3 years. So like, they have insane depth at the wing. I mean, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
Insane's the only word I can describe it.
They have so much trade bait. And they have so much trade bait. But the thing is, listen, we talk about this all the time, is that early in the season, it's kind of like rein in your takes and like, yes, we can have these wild takes.
No.
But some of these things, are they sustainable is the question. Iguodala looking as good as he has off the bench. Nemanja Bjelica shooting 58% from 3. Like, are certain things going to start leveling out? And what's going to be really interesting is in 2 games, they play the Chicago Bulls, and the Warriors are famously known this season for their third quarters, and the Bulls are famously known for their fourth quarters this year, unless they're playing Furkan Korkmaz. It's just like...
He murdered us.
We'll get into that, don't worry.
I admit it. I ain't going there.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there, don't worry. Okay. It's going to be interesting, that dynamic in that game, because both teams are kind of meh first half teams. The Bulls are way worse of a first half team this year than the Warriors are. The Warriors kind of just like, they kind of ride the pole.
Zach is the slowest starter in the NBA.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with the games coming up, because I believe they play the Timberwolves tonight, and they play the Bulls the next night. I think those are 2 teams that, I don't know if the Timberwolves can very much give them trouble, because the Timberwolves also coming out of back-to-back. That'll be interesting to see both teams. But the Bulls are a team that they can shoot just about any team out of the gym. The question is which Bulls are going to show up on the night. If you get the good Bulls and you get the good Warriors, the Warriors are always good. But if you get those teams, that matchup should be really interesting, I think, because it's both teams that I think, I know Vucevic, they like both to play small. They kind of both look at the same way. I know Vucevic is a stereotypical center, but he's a stretch 5 really at times.
Where the stretch at, Boost? Where the stretch at?
Well, yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. He wants to be a stretch 5. Yes. But yeah, this Warriors team is tremendous. I have some questions on sustainability with some of their bench players and how well their bench unit has played. But I think they're going to add more pieces with this as the season goes on, especially with Moody and the cum bucket. Like, I think those 2 things. I think those 2 things, those 2 guys, along with Wiseman, if they seriously, we get to the All-Star break and this team is still where they are now, they're going to be a team that's going to be able to go and trade for basically anybody they want. Because really, if you want to get another wing, Andrew Wiggins is a perfect contract matcher for just about anybody. And then you throw in a cum bucket, or you throw in a Moody, or you throw in a Wiseman, whatever the deal may be, and you can get a deal done. I mean, this team...
Dame is about to be a Golden State Warrior, and this is about to be not fair.
Dame is not going to be a Golden State Warrior.
They have the best offer, and it's not even close.
He's not going to get traded, so I don't think he's going to be a Golden State Warrior.
I mean, he sure fucking hates it, and I mean, he doesn't hate the city. He loves the city.
Hates the reffing
he hates the losing.
He hates
the same. I'm just saying, like, he already said he'd love to play with Draymond Green. I'm sorry, Jay. He's not coming to Philly.
Well, he doesn't get to make the decision, so it's not really his choice.
Keep shooting like this, they're gonna make a decision.
They're gonna build around their franchise player and C.J. McCollum.
Anthony Simons is the future.
But the Warriors, would you label them? Would you label them finals favorites right now?
I have to say yes. I think that the deck is stacked for them this year. Even if Clay, and again, great call out in chat, Spaz got it. Well, if Clay comes back, he's only 80%. If he's 50%, like, this is a guy who hasn't played basketball in 2 years. And I can never pronounce his name. Sapnikov. I'm sorry. I call him Spaz.
I call him Sap. I don't know.
But yeah, like, we realistically don't know what Clay is. He's full of fucking jokes. He's now a captain of his own fucking boat, which is
Did
cool.
you see what he just said? He said, "What if he sends Wiggins back to Minnesota and Cat comes to the Warriors?"
Never gonna happen, but that would be great.
Oh my gosh, that'd be
Um,
hilarious.
but yeah, no, like that. It's just they have the talent and they have the potential and they have the assets. If a move is available, they can make it, and you know that front office is willing to do what it takes to win. Now the question is just would they pull the trigger on selling long-term assets for a championship window now? And I
I
think
think
the
so.
answer is they should.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I think they will too. Because I mean, Steph is 34. Clay's coming off 2 critical
The
knee
problem
injuries.
is
Like,
Steph looks like he could shoot till he's 45. It doesn't
yeah, but
fucking matter. Like
you just never know.
his
Though.
ankles are
So,
made of
like,
paper mache though.
exactly. So you never
That's the
know. And there's a clear. I mean, right now we have to wait more games. It's 10 games. I know, but
Yep.
the whole NBA looks so wide open right now that you could name probably about 10 teams and tell me they're going to win the title, and I could be like, there's a case to be made. Like I won't agree with everyone, but there's a case to be made because there's no team like the Warriors. Their third quarter runs have been stupendous, but their first half's been questionable, and the fourth quarter we don't know because they literally haven't had to play fourth quarters. So as much as I want to label like they're the favorites, I'm not sure I could name a favorite in either conference right now and be like confident in either of them. What?
okay.
It's too
I'm
wide open.
curious.
It's too
For the
wide.
West, who is your second? Who's competing for second best in the West? Utah, we know what they are. Mike Conley's excellent when he's out there. That he it's such a good team. Jingles has been great. Clarkson can't hit the side of a fucking barn and they're still winning games.
Yep.
Boyan underrated as hell, still doing his thing. Like the team just seems so fundamentally solid. I just don't know in a
I
best
still
of seven.
think I still yeah. If you're forcing me to pick a team, I'd probably say Golden State, but I'm not confident. Like Golden State, I still think Phoenix. I know that we talked about them tailoring out, but it's hard for me to count them out still. The Denver Nuggets, once they get Jamal Murray back, I still have a complete faith in them.
Now they got
If
some
they-
attitude.
And yeah, they do have some attitude. They have some aggression.
They got a little
Ruthless
toughness down in the post.
And you know what? And I know they've looked bad. I will never count out a team with LeBron James. So it's just like I know he's hurt right now.
Coach LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean at this point, yeah, your boy Russ. We can segue into a little bit of Russell Westbrook talk. So the Lakers,
So
questionable so far.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I took a box score and put it in the Discord the other night, and it was
Might
the
have.
Lakers starter, and I don't think a single one was in double digits.
It was ugly.
Russell Westbrook, just some of the things that I've seen from this team, they don't have a cohesive offense. The communication defensively is lacking, if that's even enough to say how bad it is.
Yep.
It just seems like this team has no gel and no cohesiveness at all over on the court, and it looks like it looks like a Frank Vogel team that I would expect offensively, and a completely opposite of what I would think of Frank Vogel defensively. You know what I mean? Like defensively, he usually has his team sound. Offensively, it's usually in Indiana. It was basically give the ball to Paul George, and if he can't create something, somebody's taking a three, and that's basically about it. Like, this team, I don't know how to read it so far. It's just so even without LeBron, with Russell Westbrook and AD, they should still be winning games, and they're just not.
They were set up to succeed as well. Think about the absolute cupcake of a schedule. Fourth game is San Antonio, OKC, Cleveland, Houston, OKC again. A struggling Portland team after that who blows you out. Like, that is such a fucking give me lineup to get your traction. To their credit, they played well. They beat Cleveland. They beat Houston back to back. Like, they had their games, and Russ looked great in those games. To his credit. I mean,
can we give the real credit? This team would be way under 500 if it wasn't for Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has just been like my goat. Carmelo Anthony has just been he's been unbelievable, and people counted him out, and he was done. And blah blah blah. I don't know what happened and what roids that LeBron gave him when he came to LA.
He's definitely taking some HGH.
Yeah, that's
he
fine.
He is
well equipped for it. Who cares?
No one does. No one does. He's not the only one, and he won't ever be the only one. It's part of the game, and I think that I'm going to say this, and this is contradictory to me for a lot of years. The game's better when Melo's playing. You know, it is more entertaining when he's on the court. I will admit,
Dave. Good job.
The Lakers squad has a swagger to them.
We won, Soapy.
He plays with such confidence. It's so much fun to watch him out there. But like, the one thing I will say complimentary about this team is you see Rondo and Russ working to force the ball through AD. They're working to get the right guys involved. And AD is not someone who is ever vocal about his touches. And I think that's always to his detriment because he is the mismatch on the court at every given time. Like there's like 2 guys in the NBA who can hold up with him, and that's about fucking it. And if he feels like dominating, he can. So it's like I'm glad that their game plan is, let Russ do Russ well. LeBron's off the court, see how he runs offenses. But really, the answer is we need to make sure Russ and AD can be on the same page, and AD is going to get fed, and that is how he will win and dominate games. And like they don't have a couple pieces still, I want to say Trevor Reeves is still on the
out.
outs.
THT's still out, and then Wayne Ellington. I don't.
He's back for the last 2 games, I think.
2 games. Okay, I haven't watched the last 2 games. That explains it.
Yeah.
Ariz is a big miss in my mind. Again, they should
He's
not be
37. So like, how
it.
much do you expect out of him? But like, he's a veteran. He's a champion.
Exactly.
He's been there, done that. He's a wing defender, which is what they fucking need right now with LeBron out, especially.
They need Jesus, is what they need. They need a lot. They need Russ to stop.
Look,
see, this is what happens though. Is Russ is going to turn on the second half of the season? They're going to win like 13 out of 15. They're going to get up to a top 4 seed in the West.
Yep.
And then we're going to see if they're healthy in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's literally what's going to happen with them. They're going to ride this wave. Crazy streak in the second half. Russ goes off. LA fans are calling him the MVP. And all that stuff. And then, boom, we're back to where we are. We'll see if they're healthy in the playoffs. But besides, and I do agree with your case, the rest of the West, Utah is whatever they are. Could they make a run?
No, they're exactly what we thought they'd be, and that's exactly who they are. And until we see playoff change, that's what they're.
Except for they let go of one of their best players. Apparently, they just held him back in their system. But again, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, and then Dallas is Dallas. I like Dallas. Luka's absolutely phenomenal.
Do you?
Yeah. No. I like Luka.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was like,
that's what I mean.
They're winning some games, but they fucking stink.
They stink. Their offense stinks. It's either basically they look terrible and Jalen Brunson saves the ball off the bench, or Luka just does Luka. Yes. There's nothing else. Porzingis is shooting 35% from the field, 25% from 3. He has been awful. Yeah. And I don't think there's a. Yeah. We talked about a drop off in terms of the words. Luka is this good. I completely believe that, but this team is going to be hindered by their coaching and by Tingus Pingus not being able to play coherent basketball. It's just unless Luka has 35, 12, and 10, which he's more than capable of doing on a night-to-night basis, they won't win a lot.
Jason Kidd's offense, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But I agree, and it's Porzingis' inconsistency is murdering them. Because he started a couple games hot, and he was 3 or 4 out the gates, and you can see him feeling it. And then I don't know if he just fucking gets down on himself, but he's gonna miss the next 7 shots, and you can just put money on that. You see it in his fucking body. You see it in his just looking at him, he just feels demotivated. I don't know what it is about him. So oh man, Tingus Pingus in the chat.
Yeah. So we'll move to the Eastern Conference.
Quick shot. Frankie Smokes.
Oh, yeah.
He's back, baby.
Yep. Yep.
He's a wing. He's a fucking defensive god like he's always been. But now he's getting the confidence. He's taking shots. Yep. He looks great. I think a role change, a location change. I don't love Jason Kidd, but I have to give them credit for Frankie Smokes is getting his fair chance out there, and he's looked pretty good.
So we're going to move to the Eastern Conference, Dave. We're going to move to the one that's probably going to take a little bit longer than the Western Conference because we talked about the Warriors and Chainsaw. You joined at the great time because we're going to start off in the Eastern Conference with one team that has looked coherently better than everybody else, but has been hindered by their
how much
COVID
money
status.
Are they not playing with, Jake?
Over $110 billion.
Think about it. That's
and they're
insane.
8-4, and they're 8-4, tied for the top seed of the East. The underhanded Philadelphia 76ers just keep giving it to everybody. Tyrese Maxey had 34 last night.
Against fucking Giannis.
Paul Reed was guarding Giannis, and so was George Niang, and they competed with the Bucks until the end of the fourth quarter.
B-Ball Paul's going to fucking hold out against Giannis. I mean, Giannis is Giannis, but B-Ball Paul, I'm just saying.
He's oh, my God.
That's a G League MVP right there.
Yeah, damn
Put
right.
some respect on
That's
it.
MVP versus MVP matchup. Why was that not highlighted before the game?
Thank you.
People were just missing the point. But Daryl Morey, listen, we heard some people in the offseason. I think I saw a tweet a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
we had nobody on this team who could dribble and who could shoot. Now they just have Seth Curry, Danny Green, Drummond, who is averaging like 19 rebounds a game when he started this year, which is hilarious because it's the most Andre Drummond stat ever. Andre Drummond had the most rebounds in a game by a 76er since Charles Barkley, and that is the most non-surprising stat from Andre Drummond I've ever seen. So we'll get into what happened last week because the two games they lost this week, they competed in both of them, and it was what it was. They weren't the 7 Sixers last night. They were the 6 Sixers last night because Seth Curry was also out. Tobias Harris is questionable for tomorrow, and so is Seth Curry. So reinforcements may slowly be coming back.
Have we heard if Joe's feeling any better? I know Doc had said he was actually feeling pretty bad.
We haven't had an update yet. I believe he had the same thing that Toby did. They are both vaccinated, but I don't believe that I know Toby had bad symptoms for a few days, and now he's fine. So they think that he may be back tomorrow.
Hopefully Joe will be on the rebound soon. Okay.
It's 10 days. So it was 10 days from when he was out, which was, I believe he started feeling symptoms on Sunday. So we'll see next week sometime. But Seth Curry should be back tomorrow, hopefully, and then maybe Tobias. Last week, though, we got to talk about it. The Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers played 2 games. Yeah. And the 76ers won 2 games.
Yes, did.
First of all, it was highlighted by Joel Embiid making a step back double team to 3 and then looking at the crowd and going,
Are we sure it wasn't him punching Lonzo in the face?
Well, he didn't punch him in the face. He missed. He hit him in the hair. Dave, that's passion. Passion.
So when he does
it.
Hashtag dirty player.
Our producer doesn't know.
If you, by the rules of Jake Neverman, if you do something that is going to hurt another player, you're a dirty player. It was intentional. He punched. He punched.
Yeah. You don't punch the air. No one punches air.
You punch people.
Actually, I was gonna hit you with that.
Carlos Boozer punched a ref in the balls.
He punched a ref right here. No, wait, was it? I thought he punched.
He punched him in the balls.
Who punched a ref in the face? Somebody punched a ref in the face before, and the guy.
Somebody else. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it did happen.
Somebody just ate it.
Boozer did one of these as he was turning and just uppercutted him. It was bad.
Bad. Yeah. So Seth Curry is putting up ridiculous numbers, and then Corkman had the stat
9
now. He had the second most fourth quarter points going into this week, only behind DeMar DeRozan. Furkan Korkmaz. So Dave, what were your takes on those 2 games? We haven't talked about them, so I'd love to hear it.
So game 1, we haven't talked about. Have you been in Discord? So you know what we've talked about.
We haven't talked to verbally.
We've not verbally sparred.
There's difference.
Okay. So here's what I'm willing to admit. That's how I have to start this. I have to. I'm a Bulls fan. Obviously. The Bulls lost the game due to a couple things. And one thing notable during the game was the refs. The other second notable thing was Zach LaVine going cold at the end of the game and his ego getting the best of him. And that's what hurts a lot because Zach's playing with a hurt thumb, for those who don't know. It's his not shooting hand, but is still the fact that he can't dribble with his opposite hand, and his shots are all off because as he's pulling up for support, like it's just, you can clearly tell it's off. So Zach's ego of still wanting to be the guy to close out games has burned us this year in a couple games, not just against the Sixers, which is shitty. But like, you feel for the guy. It's very clear DeMar DeRozan's our guy right now. Like, he's the number 1 on our team since the start of the year. He's insanely hot. And everybody who said that was a bad pickup can go eat a bag of dicks.
Well, I do want to say that, pause real quick. We both said that he was going to be the one to take a back seat. We both thought that. And then he was just like, hold my dick. Here we go. Sorry,
he's like 15 points a game. No, I'm going the other way. I'm going for 30.
We're going up. We're going up.
Just so you know. But yeah, no, like the refs just dicked us so bad in that first game. The second game,
Curry was the one who punched the ref. That's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Seth or Steph?
Steph.
Okay. Yeah. Worse Curry, got it. Yeah. No, I mean, the second game, like Niang and Furkan couldn't miss. Like you guys, I think, I don't know what Niang was. I know Furkan was 7-9 from 3. And I literally like wanted to flip my tail. I was like,
the second game, Niang wasn't good.
Okay, so first game was Niang.
No,
second game was Furkan.
Second game, Niang had the game where he's like, I can't hit anything until it's the most important shot of the game, and I'm going to drill a top of the key 3 and just drain it in your face. The first game, he was 4 for 8 from 3, so yeah.
Okay. It hurt. It hurt a lot because it felt like we should have had the opportunity to win both games. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Both were very winnable games, and with every asterisk next to that Sixers roster for why they shouldn't be in the game, why they shouldn't be competing, why they shouldn't be winning, you have to give them the credit for fucking playing up. Like Doc Rivers got literally 9 role players, slapped them together, and then fucking won games against legitimate NBA playoff teams, which is fucking awesome. And I think that's as much shit as I will ever give Doc for the playoffs, because he's a fucking awful coach in the playoffs. His regular season squads are just fucking money.
He is one of the best, and this is why I said coming into the year, like, people were like, Sixers are going to suck, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, Doc sucks ass in the playoffs, year in and year out. He is one of the best floor raisers in the regular season of a team ever. Like, that Clippers team, when they traded Tobias Harris away in the middle of the season, who was their best player, and they still made the playoffs in the West. Like,
we run 3 guards with Pat Beverly, Shea, and Shamet.
Yeah,
that was. I mean,
and they made the playoffs with that.
What the fuck is that?
Like, it was insane, and it was Zubac and who was the 4?
Marooks?
No, he was still in New York at that point, wasn't he? No, was that before?
They traded for Marooks. That was all part of the swaps, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's insane. That
if Retro, I don't know time of day. Retro,
I think he's
probably sleeping right now. But if anybody from chat wants to tell us that lineup for the years are all blending, man. Whatever that year was.
It was 2018.
Whatever that Clippers year was.
2018. It was 2018, 2019, because that's the year that Jimmy
Shea's final year where they went to the playoffs. Yeah.
2018,
point being, I agree. He is a floor raising coach in the regular season. His fatal flaw is playoff coaching when it comes to making any fucking adjustments, understanding the flow of the game. But during the regular season, this man's fucking money, and I admit, as a Bulls fan, it hurt me. I was angry. The refs fucked us the first game to the extent where 40 minutes of Discord were just shouting at a wall.
The second game, you guys shot 11 more free throws. You had 11 more shots from the field. That was and I don't like to.
We should have won. I'll just say the truth. We should have won both games.
The second game was embarrassing. The second game was terrible. We lost more players from the second game, and I was like, you know what? We split. I'm happy.
That's what Ricky said too.
I was out, and I was like, I kept looking at my phone every couple minutes, checking the score, and I was just waiting for the Bulls to take a 10-point lead.
We rattled off a run, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I rewatched the game. It was interesting because early on it seemed like the Bulls. If Vucevic had a couple different shots where he could have taken them, and the complete momentum would have changed in the game. Like a couple of top of the key, wide open threes.
He's a nice player. But then all of a sudden he strings together fucking. I'm now the point guard. Playing center, and he makes the right passes. He's smart about things. It's incredibly frustrating because he clearly has no role on this team, and I don't know what Billy Donovan's doing about it. And that's I know we're talking Sixers, but now we're talking Bulls. Sorry, your time has ended. Sixers are great.
Here the next question, so don't worry.
You've got $100 million not playing, and you're still winning games.
We'll wrap it up before we talk about the Bulls. We'll wrap it up before we talk about the Bulls.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit regular season wise for this team.
Say the name though.
What, Ben?
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
He better not.
Do you think we'll have a conclusion? Do you think we'll have a conclusion of Ben Simmons by the trade deadline, or is this going to go on for the entire year?
No, it'll be deadline. I think they're waiting for December 15th. I think they're waiting for the day that free agents that signed this offseason become available, because that opens up more possibilities in terms of trades. I think, and I think I tweeted this too, the players deserve them to trade Ben Simmons, because this team, with, even if you just listen, am I going to be upset about trading Ben Simmons for role players? Of course, because he's worth way more than that. But if you're going to land 2 role players and increase the depth of this team with Joel Embiid being Joel Embiid, and I know that him getting COVID sucks and all that, but him getting to rest for 10 days at the beginning of the season when the schedule was so compact, there's a slight positive that you can take from that.
He literally fucked up his knee in game 2,
game 1.
8 minutes. No, it was game 1.
It was first quarter, game 1.
I remember watching with you, and we were like,
no, he does that every game though. But no, he looks fine now. He got taken off the injury report a couple games. He looks good now. The first couple weeks he was a little bit wobbling, but you get Tobias Harris back, you get Joel Embiid back, you trade Ben Simmons for something. I'm not saying I would, because Doc Rivers is still the coach, so it's whatever in the playoffs. The organization and Daryl Morey deserve it to the players. This team with increased bench unit, or whatever you want to talk with, if they get another ball handler for the bench unit, or whatever it is, or you get somebody to force Danny Green out of the starting lineup and off the bench, this team, with how wide open the East is, the sky is the limit. Now, will you probably blow a 27-point lead in the playoffs because Doc Rivers is your coach? Probably. But you just deserve at this point. It seems like every single role player has taken a jump. Furkan, Niang, by the way, shout out Daryl Morey again, who was just riding the bench in Utah and probably ran off the court, which will probably still happen.
He got exposed in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is why you trade Ben. You go get somebody because Niang is getting exposed in the playoffs. You go and get somebody who can take care of it. Big brain move, by the way. The Hawks, with how much they're struggling, they were in Ben rumors in the offseason. Now, do they come back and consider a Ben trade is the question. If you trade Ben to Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this on Twitter, so I have to bring up the tinfoil hat. Bogdanovich,
in your
Cam.
dreams. Yep.
Well, you send. I think it was Ben Shake in a first.
You're getting one of those two.
No, I think it was Ben Shake in a first for Ben Shake in a first for Bogdanovich, Cam, and then there was some end of the line. I don't remember who it was, but it was some end of the line guy. But who knows? If the Hawks continue
if you're disrespecting Sharif Cooper right now, I will slap you.
It wasn't Sharif.
I will fly across the fucking country to slap you for disrespecting.
It wasn't Sharif because he's not. He wouldn't even be a throne because he'd be on the G League team. Yeah, I just
that contract.
I think the big thing to watch with this team is Tyrese Maxey is flourishing, and number 25 that we don't. I really don't say his name as much as I can anymore. Tyrese Maxey's up to 38% from three this year, so
that's because people are starting to figure out that if you try to close him out, you're gonna get burned.
But now he's making threes.
That's what I'm saying. Like before they were giving him room, and now he's knocking down a shot. So now they're trying to close out, and he's one step gone. I mean, it's fun to watch.
How you guard that. Yeah, him and Seth.
I watched it. It hurt me.
Him and Seth are incredible. I will say that the backcourt's so dynamic. The team's dynamic.
Sell Toby. Sell Ben.
I'm not even sure.
Guys to build around fucking Maxey and Joe and Seth Curry. That's your threesome. Figure it out.
For this season, I think you trade Ben and keep Toby. Toby was our. Because
he's the most consistent player.
Well, no, since Embiid was hurt, Tobias was our best player the first couple games of the season. And listen, you know it's coming from me. I've been on the sell Tobias train for years. I think the team's going to be interesting. Getting everybody back next week. If they stay healthy, this team is going to win upwards of 60 games in the regular season. There's your prediction.
I don't know if you will continue shooting as hot as you are. That's my only asterisk because I think that what's interesting.
I should ask it if they trade Ben and stay healthy, they could win 60 games. If they're going to let Ben ride the pine all year, the team's going to be hindered and they'll be a 5 seed probably. Yeah. So that'll be the big difference.
Yeah, is that where I put him at the 5? I'm just saying, I called it. But that's okay. We'll find out about that later because now I do have to ask the one question. Sorry, before the last thing I can think of for the 76ers.
I think I hate about talking about the Sixers. We can talk about the Sixers all show. That's fine with me.
I was going to say, you brought up the Hawks as a trade partner.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, is there any other, like, if we're talking like a star, quote unquote, for Ben Simmons being traded out, like, can we kind of reevaluate the Harden thing now because Harden got moved for role players in effect? Like, it was Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and something else. I forgot what it was. It was like a couple picks. It was a couple picks. Duh. Yeah, so it's like getting back those mid-range kind of guys. I know that the Houston Rockets went the cheap route because their front office / ownership is a fucking joke. But like those kind of players, I think would be massive for a team like you to fill in those gaps. I agree. I think that Ben Simmons for like high-end role players is exactly what you guys need. I literally look at fucking Houston, and I am shocked if either John Wall doesn't go or you guys don't get a combination of like Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, and Tice or something like that. Like. I know you're not in super need of a big.
Don't bring me Tice.
You just fucking love Drummond now out of nowhere. But like,
I don't love Drummond. I love him for a veteran minimum as a backup center.
I think that Houston's got enough pieces where they would move on them plus a couple picks maybe back and kind of balance it out. I know Morey and the hatred's there, but I'm just saying.
Green and Ben. Oh, that's like my.
And you could literally run Ben, Jalen Green, KPJ. As your 1, 2, 3, and not fucking suck because you'd actually have a point guard.
And that's set for like a decade, basically.
That's just my wet dream kind of going on of it. I'm just saying it's a win-win deal because Eric Gordon, everybody kind of forgot that he's still money from 3.
Yeah, I talked about him before the season. I was like, if you want to hand us John Wall and Eric Gordon, we'll win the East.
The problem is that's like $70 million.
Yeah, you need to trade Ben and like maybe you could trade Ben and Danny Green, and you could get Eric Gordon and John Wall. That probably works out financially, depending.
I'd love to see that, yeah. And throw in, I think you guys would want Jayshawn Tate. He's such a good 3-and-D player. Like,
the problem is I don't think a deal with Houston gets done because Morey and
that's the only. It's the burn bridges, man.
I mean, again, Cleveland's going to come up, and now Sexton out. I'm not really sure.
Are you gonna have to do? Say if Sexton returns this season, you get Sexton, Rubio, and K Love for.
No. There's not a deal anymore with Sexton being out for. They said it might be
Rubio and K Love.
No.
For Ben Simmons, straight up.
No. We talked high end role players.
Equal value.
Kevin Love. No, I don't need Toby and Kevin Love making $75 million.
But it gets you Ricky Rubio, who's a god right now.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm good. I don't need the longevity.
Okay, let's move on though.
What, you don't want to talk Sixers the entire show, Dave?
No. I'm throwing a lot of trades, and I feel like that gets stale. So
Cleveland is the last team we'll talk about before we get into rookies, because
you mentioned an injury.
Cleveland, with Colin Sexton being out, we don't know the timeline right now. I know that Kai in our Discord said it might be upwards of 6 months for him, so we'll see if he even plays the regular season. But Ricky Rubio being I don't even know I don't even say torch because that's not enough to describe how good he's been.
He changes their entire team.
Evan Mobley is basically 2 years ahead of where I thought he would be right now. You can write him in at number 1 for both of us. That's fine. Because he's just been the most consistent rookie. He has the most contested shots by about 50 in the league. He is... I think I told Retro this. I think he is defensively where he's at is where I thought he would be at the end of next season. Yeah. Like, his player development is so quick now, and his shot looks good, and him and Jared Allen make sense together right now, which is hilarious. Like, the 3 and the 2 are going to have to get figured out. Darius Garland's seeking out pull-up threes, which is the biggest thing that he had to do this year. We'll see if he can consistently do it. But Darius Garland, Lowry's even looked like his numbers, box score watching, haven't been great. But Lowry looks more comfortable in the role at the 3 because he doesn't have to play down low.
He's getting the opportunities on the right spots in the court, and he has the confidence to pull up when he needs to and ball handle a little bit, which was completely taken out of his game in Chicago thanks to the thumb. So, like, I'm happy to see him do well. I still think it's an overpay for what he is, but I think that there's still upside on the table.
Yeah, it's an interesting team because, like, we talked about them being bottom 5 in the East, and most people did.
Yeah,
this is easily a team that can sneak into the play, and if freaking Ricky Rubio is going to play like he is now,
with Sexton out, now I have to ask us to. And I know a lot of people are like, Sexton now it's a positive for us.
I would say
he's been. I literally have. I spend way too much time on Reddit, and especially in Cleveland's own Reddit. I was kind of surprised that the common theme, like, I would probably say it's 50-50 over there. It really felt like there's a lot of people who were like, he's a negative on the court. We know we don't want to keep him around in Cleveland. Like, this is a win for us. We get to fully test out our roster without him and move on from him without any guilt. And I'm like, shit, that's a cold way to think about it, but you're not wrong. Like,
it's
a business.
Team. It's an interesting team because, like, Mobley is the future of that team. Like, Mobley.
Oh my God,
Mobley is the one to change their franchise. Like, he literally looks like Anthony Davis. That it's not even like he looks like young Anthony Davis, who's a better shot contester, which is
not just better shot contester, better shooter. He's a better offensive player than Anthony Davis was coming in the league by leaps and fucking bounds. And he's playing next to another 7-footer and still putting up the shot contest that he is, which is insane when you think about what they're asking him to cover, because he's defending on the wing right now and then coming back to the paint. They're switching. Like, watching Cleveland play, I mean, like, the box score doesn't do him justice, which is insane because his box score is nutty. Like, if you're a fantasy basketball player or fantasy basketball,
he was steal. He was the steal. I mentioned this name in the draft process. Is like, if this goes best case scenario, like, he looks like Embiid, who actually has a consistent shot, like, and doesn't have bad knees. Like, he's mobile on the perimeter. He has a consistent jump shot. His post game looks okay. Like, there's the trade off: a more consistent jump shot, but a less consistent post game.
I agree.
And defensively, he has the same. He looks like Embiid with good knees, which hasn't been seen in 7 years. So, like, he's just a freak. Like, I don't genuinely like the way he ball handles on the perimeter, like Embiid does with the DHOs. Like, he's just tremendous. Like, I'm out of words for Mobley.
I mean, you can't say enough praise about him going into his rookie year. I think that Rubio's unlocked the roster, and it's like, I will always say, like, the Bulls made the biggest change to our roster during this past offseason, and I want to give all the credit in the world to AKME. As a tandem, they really flipped I mean, literally everybody but 2 players on a roster from 1 year ago today are different, which is wonderful. But like, if you're talking the impact of a single move changing your franchise, like, it's hard to not say like a guy who was written off by the Timberwolves twice now, coming off of a fantastic Olympic performance, is just he's saved their entire season. It feels like, because his ability to be a court general, a professional, like one of the best all-time international play. Like, you just look at what Ricky Rubio has done for the momentum of that roster, and I love it. I can't speak highly enough. I think he's a perfect mentor for Garland. It's so cool to watch, but I still think they are pieces away, multiple pieces away. I understand, injuries suck, but like, I'm gonna sign on the fact that like we're gonna have to see the Sexton timeline until we have a clear timeline. Like, I'm not ready to say they're a playoff team or a play-in team quite yet.
Fair. Yeah, I was trying to think like top 3 moves that change teams. Ricky Rubio is definitely one. Melo's probably up there. And then you just got
especially for the value. Like, obviously the Russell Westbrook flip for the Wizards. I mean, that's the Wizards this year.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think next week we'll do a whole thing on the Wizards because they deserve their own segment to talk about. The other team, I just want to throw in one player before we go to rookies, is Mo Bamba looks fucking great.
Mo!
And listen, is it vindication for me having above Luka Doncic in my big board? No. But he's a stud, and I just needed to throw Mo Bamba's name out there because somebody threw it out in our Discord today. And I was like, Wendell Carter looks good so far. Mo Bamba looks good so far. Cole Anthony, holy fuck. We had the debate, and I wasn't like, I was high on Cole Anthony. You were very low on Cole Anthony. Mm-hmm. I was not this high on Cole Anthony. I was like, I think he can be a great serviceable guard. Him and Suggs work together. And then Cole Anthony was like, let me just become the superstar that this franchise needed. Like, it's unbelievable. Awesome. Unbelievable. Yeah. And I can't wait till they get Isaac and Fultz back, because we'll see. Like, will they do anything this year? Probably not, because we don't know how long they're going to be back in. But that team is full of young talent, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But you've seen
their numbers for their starting unit is under the age of 23 average.
Yep.
They had the highest plus minus of any starting unit in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take a fucking genius to put that together. Jalen Suggs is statistically playing like the worst goddamn player in the NBA from every advanced stat standpoint, and yet they're pulling off fantastic lineups. And I really think that the thing that kind of going under the radar right now for a lot of people, because nobody really watches Orlando Magic basketball, says like a national fan, like people don't. No, I'm saying people, like not us, because we have a problem with an addiction to the game. That's different. Fair. But for the average fan, like, the Orlando Magic don't get a ton of time on national TV. Their bench is putrid, and one of the biggest problems is Terrence Ross has struggled very much out of the gates. We talked about his value. We talked about him being traded for 2 years in a row. The fact that he's still here and now struggling, I mean, you just shit the bed with that situation. You're a year too late, All
right.
And I hope he bounces back, because, again, he's someone who should move on.
He's someone who's going to get traded in the middle of the season for basically nothing at the deadline, and then hopefully the Clippers are the team that like scream for him, because the Clippers need
Bledsoe and some seconds.
Nobody's taking Bledsoe. He is
Bledsoe and some seconds for T. Ross.
He is horrendous. Okay. Also,
it doesn't matter.
No.
The Magic can literally write him off.
Listen, Retro. We like you're overly optimistic person, but we told you on Eric Bledsoe, he's crap. I think I saw last time he was shooting 11% from 3 this year, so I don't know if that's gone up. I hope it's gone up, but it's been putrid. But Dave,
Jake, can I hijack your show for 2 seconds?
What's up? Yeah.
So I'm setting NBA bets, and I need both of your helps.
Okay.
The coin is making a return. Dave picked it the first time. It's 1-0. The Wizards beat the Bucks. Jake, you're going to help me out this time.
Okay.
King Spurs, heads or tails? Who's heads, who's tails? That's the coin flip of the night.
Spurs or heads, Kings or tails.
Spurs or heads, I'm going to flip. I want this on record, too, so people know about the coin. It is heads. I am riding the Spurs against the Kings tonight, money line straight up.
Okay. Good luck. Sir. So we're going to move on to the best part of the show.
We didn't talk about the best team in the fucking East, Jake. You're not getting by without a Bulls conversation, goddammit.
We're not having a Bulls conversation today. You guys talked about him last week. We're going to talk about...
Kobe White is eligible. He is back. He's practicing. He's going to be in games. This is a massive change for a team who's not shooting the 3 ball at all. We have one of the lowest percentages in the NBA of three-pointers taken. Kobe White is someone who can come in, take 8 threes a game, hit them at a great rate, be our scoring guard off the bench, which has had fucking one person who can put the ball in the bucket. And I'm so excited to see it because this means DeMar DeRozan doesn't have to fucking babysit our bench unit every time. And look, I love DeMar. He is a dia friend of mine, but he should not be responsible for 110% of our scoring. So I'm excited about this. I think that Kobe White changes our team. Obviously, we've seen Ayo Dosunmu play extremely well in minutes and sort of kind of take over, be a momentum changer. So I think that's great, but I feel like we're going to run 3 guard lineups and Ayo can flex down. He's strong. He's added muscle. He's long enough. He's going to play the 3 for us at times. So I think that this is a game changer for the Bulls. We've struggled early. Vucevic has been asked, still needs to find his role. Donovan needs to work on him with that. But healthy Zach, healthy fucking Kobe White. This roster is insane. I'm just saying, Bulls are fucking gonna be so much fun. I can't wait till Kobe White's back because it's literally been our biggest problem. You can't ignore the problem has been fucking lack of 3-point shooting. Like, you can't. Our bench has no scoring. So, Jake, with that, do you have any rebuttal?
Let's move on to our rookie ladders for today.
Nailed it.
I'm not talking about the Bulls every week, my guy. Yeah, we can do a separate show if you want to do a separate show on just the Sixers and Bulls. We can do that. That's fine.
It'll happen.
I'm surprised you and Ricky don't have a Locked On Bulls podcast. Like, I'm surprised you guys.
I made Locked On Bulls, or
what is the old one was Super Fans.
I had Locked On Illini. I was the host of that for a while.
Yeah, Ricky was a host for Locked On.
Yeah. What was the old one? It was Super Fans, right?
Yeah, Super Fans.
Yeah,
only talking about
all
Bulls.
Chicago.
To Chicago, yeah.
It was all Chicago sports. Yeah,
guys, listen.
Some of our back in the day fans would know that.
MVP brainstorming. Let's get that Bulls podcast pumping, my guys. You could do an hour. You could do an hour every other day.
It's just so damn repetitive. It's so damn repetitive.
But I know. We're gonna call Ricky. No.
Sports.
We're gonna call Ricky out right here, right now.
What?
There was no Bulls reaction after the second Sixers game over the weekend. Ricky, you didn't react to the Sixers kicking your ass for a second game?
I will react.
See, we don't. This is why I said we don't get the pure emotion now. I wanted the pure emotion on Saturday night.
Just wait, watch. Luke will go off tonight, and then I'll be fucking.
And you'll get the pure anger.
Yeah.
All right. Let's finally get to the rookie ladder. 10 minutes after I was trying to get to the rookie ladder. Dave and I both have Mobley at 1. How many are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as usual? Okay. 7 as usual.
I try to keep it normal. I thought I'd extend it to 8 so Cade Cunningham could fit right the bottom for us both, but that's up to you.
It's 7, isn't it? Or is it?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was gonna make it 8 just so we could fit Cade at the bottom, but
Well, I
want to be impartial and keep it fair.
I was gonna put Cade at 7, but
I'll put up there.
Yeah, we'll start with 7. Mine's gonna be Cade at 7.
Wow, Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick in the draft, is your 7th best performing rookie right now. The man can't hit the side of a goddamn barn. He's playing alongside
unless it's a logo 3,
and he can't fucking play.
Unless it's a logo. Hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm just taking shots at Soaps now.
Beef Stew has been tremendous. Don't talk about
fucking God out there.
And so is Sadiq Bey. Don't talk about them two like that.
Sadiq can't shoot this year. He's
relax, okay? It's 10 games, Dave. It's sample size.
My headphone cord is stuck. I need to hang on.
It's sample size, so we need to relax. But I'm gonna put Cade Cunningham at 7 because not because of box score watching, because we watched the games.
That's what we did.
We did. And the way that Cade operates the offense and the way he reads the game, it's slow to him, which is a good thing. The shots will fall eventually. I'm not worried about that. Defensively, up and down, he's been pretty. I mean, considering him and Sadiq Bey on the wings, it's pretty fun to watch. Killian Hayes is a lost cause at this point with that offense. Wow. No bias in this show at all.
Am I wrong?
Well,
tell me I'm wrong.
But the next guy we're going to put on our list, you got to write that next to his name then too, and that'll hurt you. But I think Cade is still he's tremendous, and the shots will eventually fall. He's looked great running the offense and defensively. So it's the shooting. The shooting will come. So I still think he's 7. I still think he's on the board because he's still been great, honestly. Besides the shooting percentages, which is whatever to me at this point. I don't really care about shooting percentages for rookies that much.
I mean, it's something you have to be aware of, but you don't have to weigh it too heavily, I would say. It's one of those things where it's like, it's the quality of the shot rather than the shot percentage. Is he getting the volume? Is he getting set up to succeed? Or is this him taking bailout shots at the end of the clock? Is this him being the only guy on the field?
Oh, no. He had to pop in and say something.
Yes, no. All right.
we're having Brick next to Cade's name, we gotta have fucking. These guys fucking stink.
To clarify, Cade Cunningham is currently shooting 23, 14, 92 from the field.
I mean, hey, that's 92%. That's 92% of me liking him more than fucking Jalen Green, who's a bum.
Jalen Green
thanks for the
is shooting 35, 29, 73.
Still
wow.
A bum. Still a bum.
Yeah, so he's still a bum.
He doesn't have a fucking point guard on the roster!
I just hear excuses at this point.
Yeah,
John Wall is in a suit on the sideline!
To be honest, Cade Cunningham doesn't have a point guard most nights without Killian plays.
I'm sorry, Jake. I apologize.
All right, I'll let you guys continue the show.
I apologize. I got a little animated. Did I deafen Jake?
My Discord absolutely crashed.
Oh, no.
He's out.
Nope.
He's back in. We can hear you, Jake. So, what's going on with Jake, for those of you who do not know, is what happens in Discord sometimes is there's a red, the little, connected bar, and sometimes it'll just go red. So Jake may have to restart his computer. But Dave,
yeah,
go on about Cade. I'm going to ask you this question, and this is not hate on Cade or JG4.
Yep.
Could these be, not 5 years down the line, I'm talking rookie season, the most disappointing 1-2 picks in a rookie year ever?
No.
I mean, besides Anthony Bennett.
That's sort of the problem.
I'm saying, guys...
We set the bar real low.
I'm saying, guys we hyped up, could these be the worst of the worst when it comes to, wow, these guys should be a lot better than they are?
No, I think people overreact to the first. I gave the stat in Discord the other day. For those who follow us in Discord, links down below if you're joining us partway through this show. I gave out numbers for the first 12 games, I think, because that's where we were at that point. I think we might be up to 13 now or something like that. But numbers for the first couple games don't dictate a man's career, and especially for guys who are project players. Cade Cunningham came into the league with the size and the skill. He's not an athlete. He never was an athlete, and we knew that wasn't going to change. But it was the fact of who's around him. Was his supporting staff at OK State better than the fucking Detroit Pistons right now? Yes. As far as the competition difference, yes, they were. That's a scary thing to say. But yeah, what he's being asked to do in Detroit is harder than what he was asked to do in college. And I think that you have to understand that and putting that into context. Same thing, JG4, a man who will be on my board somewhere, is playing without a point guard. And that will hurt your shooting guard to not have a man to give you fucking good looks.
But I mean,
he's creating for himself.
Is Cade also playing without a point guard sometimes? Because
Cade is the point guard. Cade's literally a point guard. Cade's not a wing.
Technically, is the point guard, right?
Killian Hayes is their shooting guard as their best shooter from the field. How much does that hurt, Soapy? Come on back.
No, don't come back. Don't break my Discord again. Dave, who's 7 on your board? That just took a shit show, my 7. So who's on your board at 7, Dave?
I am so close. You know what?
You're
1,
do it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, Bones just misses.
Bones, yeah, he's not on mine either.
He just missed. Bones is my 8. Bones is my 8. I want to give a shout out there because I feel like there's 5 guys who are locked in, and then there's 4 guys fighting for that last, couple spots.
I'd agree.
So if I'm doing this top down, 1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
No, I'm literally counting here and looking at my screen for my list because I'm literally just going back and forth. And I'm like, do I write it? Do I not? Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll admit it.
JG4.
Yeah.
And you can write him in at 6 on mine because that's where he is. So he's my next one up. So we can just get his conversation now. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head though. JG4 is playing without a point guard. The offense looks very scattered. He's asked to do a little bit more shot creation than he should be early on in his career. He's given the ball a lot in late shot clock opportunities. He doesn't get a lot of open looks because his point guard doesn't draw double teams because his point guard hangs onto the ball way too long. It's just the
because
offense
point guard
is
thinks
so
he's James Harden.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not James Harden.
No, he's a very good off-ball scorer. I don't think
Yes.
Kevin Porter Jr. is as good as he thinks he is on the ball. Is the problem.
Yeah, and again, this is very much a coach who was brought in to do one job and then kind of ended up with a different role with his roster. So I think that this is very much he's just kind of letting them play out the season and see where we end up at. It's the total like the results don't matter. We're trying to lose games anyways. Just give the guys time, and that's fine. And I think it's okay as long as it doesn't continue into next year. It's something where like you don't want to hurt someone like JG Ford earlier in their career and put him in a situation where he feels like Devin Booker, where it felt hopeless for Booker year after year in Phoenix because he was set up to lose, and you saw the immediate impact of Ricky Rubio hitting that roster, and it was like night and day. That roster fucking nailed it right out the gates. You can say whatever you want about Igor Kokoshkov as a head coach, but that fucking team played.
You remember that throwback to when I said he should be fired, and then everybody got mad at me, and he got fired a month later?
I mean, it's not his fault that their fucking front office was like, so you coached Luka, right? Here's DeAndre. Like,
he wanted Luka and Clint Capella, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the deal. It was they were going to go after Clint Capella, get him in free agency, and then take care of Luka in the draft. And they shit the bed. That's again Sarver. Well done as an owner. You're a fucking wizard. But that's the only concern. JG4, take as many fucking shots as you want. You're in Houston. Nobody gives a shit. Like your goal is to lose games this year. Your goal is to develop your own game.
You're gonna get Chet anyways. So
that's potentially an answer. So like this year's all about just him getting comfortable, building up his cardio, building up his muscle mass. His frame is so like he's got a good frame, but he's got no muscles on it. So this year is all just about getting NBA pace, NBA play, and the physicality down because the way he can go at the rim is great, but that man is just he's what a $140 soaking wet. Like he can't attack the paint the way he wants to unless it's a break in. Fucking that's a moment. Anytime he goes at the rim, you're just like, oh
he
shit.
Floats. He floats. Yeah. He literally
it's
floats.
insane. So like it's just enjoy the year. You're down here right now because of the struggles, but it's not all on you because how you gonna succeed if the ball can't get in your hands the right way. So like that's I asterisk that. Next up on my list, since you also had JG4 at 6, so bouncing right back to me. Yep. Just gonna write his teammate right there.
Alpi.
Alperen Şengün. He's so goddamn good. It hurts me to watch him on a shit team like this. But it's exactly where he should be. Matchup wise, he is obviously not as quick as people. I'm sorry, he's not as slow as people expect him to be. He's oddly aggressive defensively, which turns into some foul trouble at times, but he is going for the steals so often. I don't know if it's like out of need or if it's coaching, whatever it is. It's more so than we had seen in his play in Europe. So it's kind of fun to see him defensively try to get more involved, start those fast breaks. But just his passing is a fucking masterclass. This man has such a high basketball IQ. He knows the sets. He knows what should be run offensively. And I think the lack of planned offensive plays hurts this team. Like, they could literally run their offense through LP the way that they did last year with Kelly O, and they wouldn't miss a fucking beat. But that's not his role yet on this team. So with this, I've got him here. I think he will continue to see more playing time over the year, and he's just looked so fucking... He's by far, like, the most professional young kid I've ever seen outside of Luka Doncic. He's so well prepared for the NBA.
Just stone cold. That's what he is. Yeah, I think you put the nail on the head. I think the Rockets will be interesting to see the core they move with going forward.
Yeah.
Because we're not even seeing all their young guys play. Grub is really not playing that much. He's playing from
Correct.
time to time. So we'll see. It'd be interesting with the Rockets again once they hire their head coach that they actually think will help them take that next step, because I don't think Silas is really going to be that guy for them. It'll be interesting to see. 5 on my list will be Franz Wagner. Franz has been interesting. Again, we talked about it in the draft process a little bit. I think we both thought that his potential was a little bit higher than just being a role player like a lot of people had planned him out to be. And he kind of shown that, like, his awkwardness driving to the lane, his ability to ball handle, and his ability to pull up just about over top of anybody who actually guards him. He's a problem. He's a matchup problem. He's kind of the same with Alpi, is that he's not quick and he's not very slow, but he's very deceptive in the way that he moves, and it's very hard to maintain maintain body shape in front of him whenever you're defending him. It's very interesting to watch him play. Again, if you haven't watched a lot of Orlando Magic basketball, you should, because a lot of the young talent they have is it's amazing. Honestly.
Honestly, it's pretty impressive what they're doing down there. I'm glad you have Franz Wagner on your board and you give him credit because he's had a couple of really good pop off games. He's a mismatch because he's so long and he's so tall. I know coming into the draft, people I think he measured in officially at like 6'8" and something barefoot. And now it looks like he's even taller. So like people are talking like maybe 6'9", maybe 9.5 barefoot, which means he's 6'10", which it just adds to the fact that he can defend multiple positions. He's got great expertise as far as like professional play plus his time in college. Like he kind of has been utilized in almost every way you possibly could imagine a wing, whether it's a primary ball handler, off ball handler, a catch and shoot 3-point, like a 3-and-D role player. Like it's really good to see him kind of transition through all of those different things. And he is like a utility knife for this team. And I think that's awesome because they've got so many wings that they've kind of got to sift through and figure out what their future plans are. Because you look at this team and like Chuma's coming off of an injury, but I'm incredibly high on Chuma. Okay. You still have Franz Wagner. You have Isaac coming off of an injury, and then you start going into a couple. Well, as I say, just as far as wings go, like
just wings.
They're using Wendell / Bamba as a tandem. You know, I think offensively you have Bamba playing the 4. Defensively, you have Wendell. Like it's just you're trading off kind of pieces. So they've got a lot of bigger guys on their roster, and it's very exciting to see them kind of flip between them.
Yeah,
I do think there is a player. I think Franz is a little bit better, just a little bit better than this next man. It's going to upset you.
Yeah, you're going to put Josh Giddey, I know.
Josh Giddey.
You can put him at 4 on my board because, you know, he's going next.
Okay, so tell me. So I want to quickly say, I fucking love Giddey. I think his passing is great. Second best in draft classes.
Best passer in the draft, correct, yeah.
He is the best passer in the draft class is unfortunately in the G League because Trae Young is a thing.
Draft, yeah.
No, Trae Young is a thing. But that's okay.
Draft, yeah.
That's okay. Cooper, I believe in his first game, was 4 of 8 from 3 and had like 35 and like 11.
Yeah.
So
he found his level in the G League. Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to hurt you right now. Josh Giddey is playing for the worst team in the NBA, and it shows. And Baisley literally tanked them out of a game. I literally watched the end of a game where he was just like, Coach said we're supposed to lose, guys. I'm gonna make sure we do that. Like,
Giddey should be averaging double-digit assists, and it's not even his fault that he's not. He's making all the passes, and his teammates can't make layups. And people thought I was joking until I started putting clips in our Discord of guys missing layups that he sets them up for. I mean, they're using him. I saw a whole Twitter thread on it. They're using him like the pistol action on the top of the key in their offense, and he's just like the way he reads the game is so mature for how young he is, and everything seems slow to him. He's just like
he's LaMelo light.
Yeah.
That's they play. They
His
both,
shot looks better also
it
too.
feels lazy because they both played in Australia for a year, but like he comes in with the same pace of play that LaMelo has been trying to push in the NBA, which is great because it's fun, it's entertaining, and it catches teams off guard who are used to a slower pace offense. And use what you have. This is a young team. OKC should be running. They should be like the Kings were 3 years ago, where you're playing with incredibly high pace. You're fucking getting the vets off the floor because they're lazy and out of shape. And you are just playing so fucking well. And instead, this team is just got a hand on the fucking e-brake. And when they need, they're like, nope, we're not doing that. Not doing that. So
yeah, if you throw Chet on this team, oh my sweet lord.
Josh going to average 7 blocks a game for this team.
It's just like, you know, it's just Giddey, SGA, Dort, and Chet. Like, what is that supposed to put? Are you putting Franz there for you? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Giddey is tremendous. His shot already looks better from what it was in Australia. I can already tell they probably stuck him with a shooting coach pretty early on in his development because it already looks better. He's starting to take pull-up threes and making them, which is something I didn't think was going to come along for another couple of years. And he's taking W's off the court, you know, flirting with girls in his jersey after the game on the sideline. Like, you know, he just wins on the court. He doesn't win on the court, and he wins off the court. So he's just doing it all. Have you not seen that video yet?
No, I have to address chat because John says Griffin greater than Cooper. And my question is, who the fuck are you talking about? Cooper is fucking amazing as far as passing is. Griffin? Griffin, we're talking mythological creature right here, outpassing Cooper? No. No, John. Get that shit out of here.
Just Giddy. Giddy's better. We all know, John. Thank you. I think it's an autocorrect from Giddy because we all know Giddy's
It might
better.
be. It might be. That's I'm extra confused about that because I was like, Adrian Griffin? Like, are we
Adrian Griffin? Yeah.
I'm so confused. That makes sense. It's Giddy, yeah.
I think Giddy's just interesting. He's such a I'm excited to see where SG and him go together like in the future because in the beginning of the season they were struggling a lot playing in the preseason they were struggling a lot playing.
They do not fit.
But it seems like they're already starting to gel a little bit more. And I think as Giddy's shot, what is the word? Improves. Yep. You're going to see them being able to gel a little bit more because they'll be able to play off ball a little bit more, which is going to be important because him and SJ are going to share ball handling responsibilities into the future, I would assume. Dave, do you want to go first for 3?
I mean, I feel like we're going to be the exact same here. And that's boring, but I'm going to say it. I'm just going to.
Duarte at 3. Oh, no, I have Duarte at 3, so.
Okay.
So so we have the same 2 guys though. I'll have Duarte at 3, and I'll have Scotty Barnes at 2. I just Dave, I don't take a lot of them, so just gotta take my victory lap for 3. 3 of my top 10 being right here. It's just actually more than that because I had Franz and J. Yeah, so never mind. I just nailed it. That's about it. Yeah. Chris Duarte, we talked about him a lot 2 weeks ago when we did our rookie board. I'm not sure exactly what you and Ricky talked about last week, but
we also had a rookie board. I did post it in Discord.
I saw the board.
The tally.
I saw the board. I just didn't know. I don't think one's going to be changing for a while, so you probably can just keep that posted up there.
I did have to erase the entire board. I used it for work this week.
You should go to a work meeting. You should just go to a work meeting with your
with that out there. That'd be great. Chris Duarte, even with the return of Karis LeVert, that was the question: was how much would it shrink down? Would his play change? Would he be off ball more? Doesn't fucking matter. The kid's a fucking stud, but at the same time, he's not a kid. He's a fucking grown ass man. So
but he's doing what he's supposed to. He's literally like,
can't even complain.
You can't if he was playing and he was 24, then you can get on him. But he's playing as the second or third best rookie, whatever you want to put him at 24, which is whatever because he plugged and played straight into a team. I didn't think he was going to I talked about a lot in the draft process. His ability to create for others was a little bit underrated, but I didn't even think that he was going to have the ball handling responsibility that he is in this team. And when I see night in, night out with Malcolm Brogdon out, TJ McConnell and Chris Duarte playing in the backcourt together, I feel like I need to be a slight Indiana Pacer fan here because they are those are my guys. Those are my guys.
You know a wild stat?
What?
Mobley has more assists than Duarte.
That's wild. Which again, that's Mobley. That's why Mobley's number 1 on all of our boards.
He's special. He's special.
He's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't have words for Chris Duarte anymore because he is who I thought he was. He stepped in and been an immediate high end role player for a team that's kind of on the seesaw of.
I don't know if high end role players enough. I would say he's a high end starter. That's I think that he's legit on that You know how Malcolm Brogdon took 2-3 years, the end of his first contract.
He was also old, so yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think Duarte is above him by quite a bit. I think that he is making Malcolm Brogdon. I know he signed the extension; he's not tradable, but I would say he's expendable. Yeah. I would say that long term, Duarte can be the guy. That's the nutty thing. Is I think he's already such a high level, and again, we saw him with volume, we saw him with playing time. How well he can do. The added volume doesn't hurt him. No. He is the shooter that he is. He's a playmaker that he is. He's an above average defender. It's just he's a quality player in the NBA. He's I would say an above average starter if he can keep this up. His splits are insane. His true shooting, everything says Chris Duarte is the best player. Outside of the fact that Mobley literally can do goddamn everything. Scotty Barnes. We'll hit now because I just have so much respect for Duarte and how well he's transitioned to the NBA. But again, it's the asterisk of the age. He should be Scotty Barnes has 5 years to hit that point. That, as far as where are you at this age? But at the same time, you're paying Chris Duarte rookie money for someone in their prime and getting prime performance for rookie dollars. So that's the other thing.
I just want to say that Sap in chat said when the Mavs trade KP, I'd be over the moon if Turner or Brogdon / Warren. I don't think you're getting either of those guys for KP. I just need to lay that out with the Pacers because just no. Maybe Miles Turner, but that's about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Again, that Pacers team is going to be very interesting because Duarte taking this step
They-
so early. It's going to
Dude,
be.
they're a smorgasbord for fucking teams. Like
And-
it. I
and
feel like
you'll
every
love-
team is walk up to the buffet and it's just the Pacers lineup right there.
And I love that they have Rick Carlisle as the one heading it because, again, I think very
Trust
highly
me,
of
yeah.
Rick Carlisle. I know some people are questionable with him. I think he's a top 5 coach in the NBA. I thought he's a top 5 coach in the NBA for a long time. And having somebody that you can trust as your head coach and being able to kind of, it's not a rebuild, it's a retool. It's kind of changing the identity of the roster. I trust him a lot in doing it. But Scotty Barnes, another coach who I trust, and Nick Nurse, I mean, he's just a stud. Like he plays the game at such a high energy. He's good on both ends of the court. The only problem I have with his game is that the shooting will keep coming with more consistency. I still believe that. The passing, he's a little bit too aggressive with passes sometimes. He suffers from the Draymond Green stigma a lot, where like he sees a very small chance of opportunity for a pass, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm going to pass it." Like I'm going to try to be able to fit it into a small zone or a behind the back pass or a no look pass or something like that. Once he starts to cut those out of his game a little bit and becomes a little bit more sound and a lot less turnover heavy, he's just like, he's Draymond, man. He literally is, but he's also a freak athletically, which Draymond isn't. Like Draymond vertically, in terms of Draymond's ability to stay in front of anybody defensively is what he's a freak for athletically. But
Right.
but Scotty Barnes is a freak both sideways and vertical. So it's like he's just again, this is why I had him 4 on my draft board, because he's a freak.
He's a ball of energy on the court. It's infectious. It's fun. He brings a great energy to the team. Everything that he's asked to do, he will do and then some, which is what's great about him. I think the Raptors are encouraging him to slowly grow out, like you said, like that facilitating. It seems like you see like, I don't want to say it feels like a quarter at a time almost the way they're coaching him, because it's like I'll see times where it's like he is just looking for either fast break opportunities, whatever they're like focusing in on, I guess, from a coaching standpoint. Like you'll see him try to do specific things, and then all of a sudden you'll see like one quarter where he gets like 3 assists, and you're like, so you can do this now. Why aren't you doing this all the time? Like it's like we're not running our sets through you. I get it, but like at the same time, maybe why not?
It's fair.
Shout out to his teammate Delano Benton, also a member of our Discord. Excellent rookie, beyond expectations.
Not
yes.
actually, just so you know.
I mean, we don't know.
We
We don't know.
OG's also just a stud. You gotta throw that out there. OG's just a stud.
OG, most improved player of the year, top 5 chance, but
Tyler
Miles
Hero's most
Bridges
improved.
running away with it.
Nah,
But
Tyler Hero, come on, man.
Tyler Hero is fire.
We gotta keep our agenda alive that we both picked him to
You're
win
right.
most improved. So we gotta
We
keep that
did,
alive.
and I ended up picking for 6th man of the year.
And I did too. So yeah.
But I think that's where we wrap up. I think Scotty had. If there's anyone who can take off Mobley from this list right now, who does it feel like? It's Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes can keep adding tools to his game his rookie year to eventually jump Mobley. I think because he'll have the volume. I think that there's a chance.
I think Siakam coming back might take a little volume away from him. So I'm not.
Ooh.
I think the only guy who can take him off is
That's why
Cade.
you
Because Cade's only
move
had Cade's only have a couple games. So if Cade shooting refers back to even like 40%, again, if Cade stops bricking shots, every other part of his game is just as good. Like Cade is a stud. He just needs to be able to have his shots fall, and maybe he just needs to take logo threes only. Maybe that's the only.
I think that's a great play style. I think logo threes,
Yeah.
and being someone who can attack the rim with his size. I agree. I think Cade is by far, like, Cade has every tool to his game. Defensively, I've seen like moments, but consistently, it feels like he's getting beat. I'll be honest. And maybe it's part of their game plan because they know that, hey, if I get beat on the perimeter, go ahead and go at beef stew.
You know? You're not going at him.
Good fucking luck on that one. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like JG4, he could put up the raw numbers, but he'll never be
Defensively, he's
without
never
a
doing
point
mobile.
guard. No, without a point guard. Like there's no way he gets up to the top of this list. Wagner is going to only lose presence as the year goes on because of the return of Isaac. Giddy, they might fucking bench him if they win 3 games in a row. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say Giddy's miraculously gonna get an ankle injury that's not real, and then he's gonna sit for half the year, just like they did with SJ last year. But
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it feels like a 3-man race. It's Mobley, it's Scotty, and it's Cade. I do have to point out before we wrap, Jalen Suggs has fallen off the lists.
Yeah.
He had a great showdown with Scotty, which
it's not really
was
his fault.
everything we asked for.
It's not really his fault that he's fallen off. It's kind of when Cole Anthony's playing that well next to you, there's not much he can really do in terms of pure raw numbers or performances to stay up that high. Because Cole Anthony is what?
He'd been playing real bad, man. Like
I know.
real,
No, I know.
He can't hit.
No, I know, but I'm saying even if he was playing well, I don't think he
Mhm.
makes either board because of just how well Cole Anthony is. He's going to get overshined regardless.
I mean, overshine is fine, but like putrid shooting numbers, like he's on his
Yeah, so
way
is Cade, and he's
down
on my
to-
list. So.
No, the problem is Jalen Suggs is on his way down to Cade. Like, I don't know.
So he's at JG4 level.
He's below JG4
I know,
shooting.
I know.
He does play defense well, which is nice because that's JG4's fucking kryptonite right now, and he knows it. But I think that Suggs' offensive game I would have expected more from. And it's just, I don't know, the shot's not falling. I don't know if it's the difference in the ball or whatever, but I have to admit that like it is kind of like I'm not worried because he's playing time. But yeah,
Vindication! I had Scotty Barnes higher on my last big board, so I'll take the victory lap.
that's fine. He still
I
can't
know.
shoot the fucking ball. That was my
Yeah,
concern. That will
difference
always
is-
be my concern.
Difference is Scotty Barnes doesn't have to shoot the ball to affect the game. Jalen Suggs does. What?
Credit to Ricky right there. Right
And
there.
that'll do it for our show today. I want to thank you all
That's
for
my
tuning in.
boy.
Everybody.
That's my
and
boy, Dave.
Jesus Christ. That's my boy, Blue. And everybody for commenting down below. Again, check out our Patreon in the description along I can't even talk. Along with our channel memberships. Again, draft content will be starting soon. Also hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell if you want to get notified every time we do go live. And Discord down below if you want to, yell at us for our opinions and not talking about the Wizards today. We will talk about them next week. Don't worry. Talk about Wes Unseld Jr. and the great job that he's doing in Washington. But that'll do it for today's show for Dave and I and Ricky and Soapy who joined. The middle of the show turned into a shit show at one point because somebody can't handle, their number one overall pick shooting 23%, even lower than Ben shot from the free throw line. That'll do it for our show today.
What's Ben shooting this year?
0.
That's right.
Actually, he hasn't missed yet.
It's just
So-
like his 3-pointers. He doesn't take them, so he can't miss.
He hasn't missed. So, I mean, better than Cade in that respect. That'll do it for our show today. I hope everybody did enjoy, and I hope everybody has a great day.